Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California's sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Alrighty, welcome back. Well, welcome here. It's Wednesday. Normally used to seeing or hearing me at 5 p.m., but you know, it's a new hour today. I told y'all last week we'd be changing the hour to 4 p.m. I hope you were listening. I hope you were tuned in. Again, it is Juss Quanni with Talk is Cheap. Y'all know my motto, actions speak louder than words. Today, well, you know, actually, let me not jump right into everything, huh? That's not how we do things here. Let's talk about the week. You know, see how the week was for me and how everything was, my weekend review. It was a pretty busy week. Now, of course, it was the kids' first week back at school, so that was pretty dope, pretty exciting. It was just nice over the fact that, you know what, I've realized that my kids love when I pick them up from school. Nothing against their mother, you know what I mean? Nothing against her. They love her as well. But it's just like they get this excitement, they get happy, they get energized when they see me picking them up from school. I love it. Everyone's gonna hate on it, but oh well, you know what I mean. Well, their mother hates on it. She don't understand. But three out of the 4 kids are guaranteed daddy's kids. The 4th one, which is Junior, she doesn't believe he's gonna be a daddy's boy. But let's not mention that me and Junior share the name. We share a birthday. He's going to be every little bit of me, but better, right? So I don't know why she thinks that he's not going to be a daddy's boy as well, but he is, and when it finally happens, it's going to crush her, and I'll try to prepare her for it, but she didn't want to hear it. It is what it is. Miracle, however, I have issues with that one because she is a daddy's girl. If you look it up in the dictionary, if you look up the word daddy's girl, you'll see her picture next to it. That's how serious it is. She is just getting worse and worse. We tried to... So normally how it works is Monday through Thursday, I do pickups and drop-offs for school and work and everything like that. So Miracle normally is with me Monday through Thursday up until I have to go to work Thursday night, you know, so forth and so on. During Wednesday, during work, she's at our grandma's house as well. But this last week, she actually, Friday came, you know, it's the first week of school, so the first week of everything going on, and they were, you know, telling her to give me kisses to go by, and she actually, she tried to come and lay down with me because she didn't want to actually, she didn't understand the concept of leaving without me being by her side. She didn't take that too well. She kind of flipped out a little bit, but, you know, I had to go to work that whole day from open to close, so kind of wasn't a choice on it. But other than that, you know, the rest of the week was kind of, you know, it was all right. Their first week at school was great. Kalila is loving kindergarten. Terrence is loving first grade. They're making friends already. They're so happy that they get to play with each other at recess, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool because we didn't get that option when me and my brothers were going to school. We didn't get that at all. So that's kind of cool that they get to hang out and play with each other. But I told them just enjoy it while they can. You don't know how long it may or may not last. So definitely was happy to see that from them. What else happened last week? Let me think before I get into anything else. I believe that was it. There was not anything major that changed. So actually, this past Saturday was the 11th year of my brother's passing, and I guess that'll actually start us off into our topics today. So I normally on the weekends I work from 11 a.m. to midnight. Friday and Saturday, Sunday, sometimes I go in at 3 or I'm in at 11 again, right? So this past week, though, with it being my brother's anniversary, the 11th year, I took off of work for Saturday night. So we all had plans to go to the skating ring, and that was going to be the big family reunion. We all had, or not family reunion, but the big celebration, the big anniversary party. We all had matching t-shirts. Well, we all had t-shirts with my brother's face on it, of course. But we all had matching t-shirts and everything. And, it started off all right. But at the end of the day, I just have to accept the fact that my family is very toxic and very dysfunctional. Very, very much so. And I say that because even with the fact that we came together to celebrate the life of my brother, memories of everything he had going on, it still was ruined over the fact that everybody brings up irrelevant questions and things that are not even necessarily needed to be asked or needed to be concerned or worried about, especially from people that are not even dealing with the situation personally. You know what I mean? They're not providing or anything for a certain situation, and they expect to have input over it. That part isn't the biggest issue, though. The biggest issue was the fact that I just finally accepted that my family is going to always defend the next person and take the next person's side, regardless of who it is, over me. As you all know, before I've cut my entire family off, I think it was about a year altogether for a situation that happened. Long story short, with that situation, my mom called me about a car for sale, and I was trying to pay for the car right then and there, put a deposit down, whatever the case needed to be, but the man wanted to wait till middle of August to sell the car. And I got a phone call one day telling me that he's not selling the car no more. Or no, I'm sorry, I called her to see about him. Later on when that time came around, I called her to see if he was still selling it. She told me the man went from $400 to $1,500, and I was wondering why the hell was such a price increase. Come to find out, long story short, anyway, her and my brother were in cahoots. He wanted to buy the car. He wanted it. The case may have been. I'm not sure what happened with it, but they pretty much just put me completely outside the picture with that situation. It was more the principle about how they did it to me, because I think it was just over a few dollars, which they could have just told me that and I would have left alone. But, people are going to be people. Family's going to be family. You got to just learn to understand who your family is. In that situation, I just felt betrayed, because if y'all could have just been honest about it, I wouldn't even cared. But the fact that y'all manipulated the situation behind my back, and then I had to go over and trip in order to get the truth out. I had to make it a big deal in order to get the truth, which is, at the end of the day, they're just money hungry. And then this past weekend just showed me that, I came back into contact after a year. I tried to put good faith in there, but like with anything else in my life, including with family, I have no tolerance for bullshit. No tolerance for disloyalty or disrespect at all. And with this situation that happened, with my family, they should have been there defending the situation, not telling me I'm doing too much or overreacting, or not defending the next person or trying to be on their side, or not even entertaining the fucking conversation. Honestly, none of that should be going on. They claim they love my brother so much, but they want to entertain this dumbass conversation. It pisses me off. It irritates me, and it's just like, I have no problem admitting how sensitive I am over my brother since he left. That was the closest person in my life I had to me, and he just up and disappeared. So these little conversations that are being had, questions that are being asked, they should have been shut down and let go right then and there. You know what I mean? It's been 11 years. Nobody want to keep asking the same questions. Nobody want to be bothered with the same bullshit, especially when it's just drama on top of drama on top of drama. You know what I mean? And for that reason, like I say, when you have a toxic and dysfunctional family, do everything in your power to make sure that the family you created stays away from that shit. I grew up in that family, and I know how toxic and dysfunctional they can be, and I refuse to allow my kids to have to deal with the same shit I did. I'm sorry. Family or not, I'm worried about healthy and non-healthy. worry about healthy versus toxic. I want my kids in healthy environments, healthy situations, not toxic situations and toxic environments. And if you kids can't be loyal to me, I can only imagine the kind of loyalty or disrespect you show my kids. I'm going to just be honest at the end of the day. I have no issues with that whatsoever. So it is what it is. Let's see here. With that being said, I kind of had a few articles I was looking up that kind of talks about dysfunctional families. And I just want, y'all hear me out for a second and let's go ahead and get into it. Dysfunctional families are fertile ground for neglect, abuse, secrecy, addiction, or denial. In these family systems, children's emotional needs go unmet because the parents' need take precedence. So the parents are putting their needs before theirs in a way. One or both parents might be suffering from a substance use disorder, personality disorder, or mood disorder. Sometimes the adults in these families have authoritarian my way or the highway parenting styles or have a toxic and abusive relationship with each other. In other cases, parents are emotionally immature or unavailable, caught up in workaholism, shopaholism, gambling, overeating, adulterous affairs, or other pursuits. No parent is perfect, but in dysfunctional families, the problem in the household are ignored or denied. Children who dare to raise these issues may be shamed or punished, leading them to deny their own perceptions of reality and suffer from low self-worth. I want to stop there for a second because I want to personally attest to that. Growing up, I always felt like what they call the black sheep, alone by yourself, not really having anybody around. I always felt like anytime I tried to make it a point that something is wrong or it's an issue or it's a problem, I kind of was just like, I got backlash for it. I didn't really get nobody to sit down and talk to me about it, to inform me, explain. It was just like ignored. Like my voice didn't matter, me caring about something didn't matter. Like I was just there just to be there. I was just there to take up space. And this right here makes perfect sense to me because growing up, I've had the lowest self-esteem. I think probably around maybe 20, 21, somewhere around there. Somewhere between 18 to 21. I got some confidence in myself and I got higher self-esteem. But my entire life I felt I've had low self-esteem, and it's only because the people that I thought cared about me or loved me, they treated me a certain way, they acted a certain way to me. When I felt like it was a problem, I was ignored or pushed to the side. It never really mattered. So I just want to speak to that part because I perfectly understand what they mean by that. And they say no parent is perfect, but those can cause issues later on down the road. It also says often the parents in these families expressly forbid children from sharing these problems with outsiders such as friends, teachers, coaches, counselors, or clergy members. They might even scapegoat one child to divert attention away from the troubles in the household. And that's true, because I could never go, you better not tell nobody this, or you can't go to school talking about it. You can't go there and talking about it, because the biggest threat I got was being taken away. And in my mind at that age, I felt like, I don't want to be taken away from my family. They love me. If I knew then what I know now, I would have said go for it. Put me in a better environment, put me in a better situation. I might have turned out better faster instead of having to wait in my mid to late 20s to get where I needed to go in life. The source of dysfunction in any particular family may vary, but the common thread is that the children who belong to these families suffer, deprived of parents who nourish their emotional needs, provide stability, and acknowledge problems. They struggle to grow into secure adults with high self-esteem and healthy coping skills. That's so funny that it said healthy coping skills. Anytime something goes wrong in my life, or used to, and this was up until maybe my first child. Actually, we'll talk about that in a second, because I think that was a life-changing moment for me and how I acted altogether. But whenever something tragic happens, like with the loss of my brother, anything like that, only way I knew to cope was to drink and party and work. Now, y'all say, well, work is healthy. No, it's not. Not when you slaving 3 to 4 jobs, you going home maybe every 2 or 3 days. Not, you know what I mean? Like, you at work constantly, barely able to get any sleep, able to do anything. And when you do have free time, you're just drowning it down with Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? Drowning all your sorrows in Jack Daniels. That was me. I kid you not. Whenever those tragic moments happen, I would just run to the liquor, or I would just overwork myself. That is not healthy at all, you know, but that's kind of being raised. I really am just, I was raised on survival. I don't really know how to reach out, I didn't know how to reach out. I didn't know how to find help. I didn't know how to be secure of myself to understand that there was an issue deeper than just the liquor and the partying and the working, you know. But that was then and this is now. So I still appreciate what I went through because, you know, struggle is where the character is built. And I think I've done a lot of that, which is why my character is so strong. That's why I refuse to ruin it for anyone, honestly. That's why I refuse to ruin it for anyone. Now, it says, unsure of how to nurture their relationships with themselves or to foster healthy relationships with others, they may go on to create a dysfunctional family of their own when they have children. Woo! It is possible, however, to break the cycle, gain a better understanding of dysfunctional families by reviewing common types of these families, a list of telltale signs, and steps one can take to heal. Okay? I like how it says that when you have children, it kind of makes you want to take steps to heal and move forward with life. I haven't shared this story. I don't know if I've shared it on air before, but I haven't shared this story with too many people. And typically, I kind of remember who I've told it to. But back in 2017, in March, I want to say, March of 2017, man, life was hitting me from every angle. It was hitting me from that angle, this angle, that angle, every side, every direction, every possible angle you could think of, down to my car breaking down, to me burning. I burnt my entire arm. I don't know if y'all can see that, but my entire arm has a burn mark down it. From the car, the hood. I popped the hood open and I forgot what it was. Radiator fluid burned me all on my arm. And I was having all of the issues in life where I was just going through it all, man. I can't remember what exactly led me to my decision, but I will just say that it was so much going on, so much pressure, so much from the outside, and I couldn't handle it. You know what I mean? I couldn't handle it at all. So I told myself, because of everything going on, and I just felt like everybody was attacking me, I was just trying to do the best I could. I was trying to be a new father the best way I could. I was trying to, you know, provide and work the best way I could, and it's just like nothing was going right for me. So I think the final straw was the actual radiator fluid burning my arm. I think I was just really over everything, or either it was, I can't remember exactly through it all what it was that triggered it. But that last little moment just told myself, I said, you know what, I'm going to go get my son, spend one last night with him, and then let him go home tonight. And when the morning comes, everybody will get the news. Now, just a little backstory here. Me and my kid's mom, her cousin, we actually roommated together. So we lived together. That's how I knew everyone would get the news. So I went and got my son. I went to the house and spent time with him. You know, it was a great time. We were just kicking and chilling, and, you know, he was only about 5 months old, so it wasn't too much we can do. So when his mom came to get him, you know, I was like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, these are my final moments. And I was just going to take my gun and just, you know, go ahead and off myself. Here's where the universe kicked in. As soon, and I mean the moment I handed my son over to his mom, he went berserk. He went crazy. He went ballistic. It's just like he lost all sense of the word calm. You know what I mean? And the moment they handed him back to me, he was just cool, calm, and collective. So me seeing that, you know, and every time he go back to her, he's just tripping. I'm like, no, it's okay, he can stay. You know what I mean? Like, let him stay. He's going through it. He don't want to leave. And if he's tripping that much, let him stay. I'll bring him home in the morning before work. That moment saved my life, because I felt like my son knew. I just felt like he knew what was going to happen. Because the way he acted out, I was just like, and he would only stay calm in my arms. It's like he knew I needed him. He did. And till this day, you know, like, he don't know how much that meant to me. He doesn't know that he saved my life. I tell him, and he don't get the concept of it. He don't understand, but I tell him and I mean it. I say that because my children or especially my son. He's been through everything with me. But I don't want them to grow up the same way I did, to where they don't know where to go in that situation. They don't know how to find help in that situation. And if they feel like the only way out is with a bullet or is to kill themselves, I have failed as a parent. I do not want my children to go through that. I don't want them to feel like there isn't a safe space they can go to talk, that they can't call me at 3 in the morning if everything is just going crazy. I don't want my kids to feel like they're in a place where speaking up or expressing themselves is going to make them feel like they're being punished for it. Because I want you to be able to tell me when you feel some type of way about something. I'm here to raise you and to help you. Like, granted, I'm not here to let you lead me. I'm here to lead you, right? Because I'm the parent. I'm here to help you. So help me understand your feelings. Help me understand how you're expressing yourself. I'm not going to shame you for wanting to do that. I don't want to be that kind of parent. So that's why I like when it says that having children of their own, because I want to break that cycle. I don't want my children growing up in a dysfunctional family, in a toxic environment. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I choose to... I would love for my kids to be in a 2-parent household. But I want them to be in a healthy 2-parent household. Does that make sense? And if that can happen, great. It'd be amazing. But I don't want to do it without knowing that my children won't have a healthy environment to grow up in. Because it's not about what I want and how I feel anymore. Now it's about the environment I'm going to put them in. They've got a couple examples here of some dysfunctional families. And I'm pretty sure we can all relate. And just let me start off by saying this. When I say dysfunctional families, like, I'm not telling you to just run away and leave them and walk away completely. I'm telling you to attempt to try to fix it. And if you cannot fix it, don't sit there and try to do it alone. Let them go. Stop killing yourself over the fact that they can't act right. That's how I feel. Now, there are many reasons why a family might be dysfunctional. Let's take a look at some of the reasons why dysfunction occurs in families. And I'm sure most of us know some of these, which is emotionally unavailable. In some families, parents or caregivers are emotionally unavailable. They might be cold and withhold physical affection or encouraging words because they grew up in a similar environment. That's not cool. They may have an authoritarian parenting style and believe that the children should be seen and not heard, which I completely don't agree. I feel like children should be seen and heard. That's how I feel. Sometimes parents might be emotionally unavailable because they're depleted. They might spend most of their time working long hours, struggling to pay for food and shelter, navigating a toxic or abusive romantic relationship, or taking care of several children. These circumstances don't leave parents much energy to nourish their children's unique emotional needs. Now, parents in the throes of addiction are also emotionally unavailable. They may be physically present, but emotionally absent because they're high or chasing their next fix. Hey, you gotta think about these kids, man. Addicts and enablers. This is the one I do want to focus on here. This one and another one I'll show you. In many families, parents or caretakers have addictions that they struggle to manage or are attempting to hide. A parent's addiction might be an open secret or extremely obvious because it prevents the individual from keeping a job, fulfilling their parental duties, or being a steady and stable presence in the home. I like that they said steady and stable because they go hand in hand, if you ask me. The other parent might be a codependent who covers for the addict, gets the addict out of jams, or constantly begs the addict to stop using. In essence, the codependent parent spends more time on the partner's addiction than on raising children. Neither the sober parent nor the addicted parent is available to the minors in the home. The children in these environments learn that it's okay for a parent's addiction to take priority over their needs. This may set the child up for addictions as they age, or lead them to seek out partners with addictive personalities. And you don't want that. That is very, very hurtful to the child, actually, later on in life. Man, I'm telling you. They also have high conflict and abusive families. In high conflict and violent families, arguments, criticism, and abuse are regular occurrences. So those families also always attacking each other. You know what I mean? Steady insulting each other every time they can. I think it's the difference between insulting and constructive criticism. That's why I have to say that, because I'm going to say something in a minute. Now, Simply put, the parents in these families are out of control. They may be rageaholics who take out their personal problems on their children and each other. They may view the families as possessions rather than as human beings with their own needs. Regarding their children as property makes it easy for them to rationalize abusing them mentally, verbally, emotionally, physically, or sexually. That's crazy. Now, I said just a minute ago why I say that is because I also believe in the statement, the people that fight the most have the best relationship, because they care enough to point out each other's flaws. That's why I say I think there's a huge difference between constructive criticism and insults. Because constructive criticism are those couples where they care enough to tell you what needs to be fixed so you can be a better person. And when you argue a lot over that I think that is a great relationship that you have with each other, to be able to point those out without having it disrupt everything in your union. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, whether you're friends, family, relationships, it doesn't matter what it is, lovers, it doesn't matter. So I had to make a point to that. Now, children in these families experience the ultimate betrayal. They can't count on their caretakers to love, protect, and respect them. They grow up feeling scared, ashamed, unworthy, and lonely. As adults, they may develop anxiety, depression, substance use, personality, or post-traumatic stress disorders. Wow. How to tell if your family is dysfunctional or was dysfunctional. Many people have no trouble realizing that their family was dysfunctional, especially if the family problems were overt and they had the opportunity to spend time with more functional families. But others might find the level of dysfunction they endured growing up difficult to gauge. After all, every family has problems. How can people tell if their family wasn't just imperfect and downright toxic? Unfortunately, making this call can be even more confusing because dysfunctional families typically deny issues and punish the members who are willing to speak up about problems. Hey, I have never been ashamed of the fact that I will sit up there and speak up about any issue that crosses my path. If I feel like it is a problem and it is going to affect negatively, it's going to be something that becomes bigger than it needs to be, I'm going to speak up about that problem every chance I get until it is fixed. And I've got no problem about that. And if you want to make me feel guilty, feel bad, feel like I'm overreacting, I do too much, I got anger problems, whatever the case may be, you feel like that's what it is with me, stay away from me. In the most respectable way, stay away from me. Please and thank you. I will no longer tolerate any disrespect to my reactions to your bullshit. It's that easy. I have no beef with anyone. I have no problems with anyone, but please stay away from me. That's all I'm asking. Now, how can people tell if their family wasn't just imperfect but downright toxic? I just read that part. The gaslighting and disregard for the truth in dysfunctional families can lead concerned members to think they're overly sensitive or have exaggerated the household's troubles. I know that all too well. Moreover, children don't have the life experience to know what normal or abnormal behavior for parents or caretakers. This is why some people don't realize how troubled their family of origin was until they spend time with other families or start one of their own. At that point, they may realize they never treat their children as they were treated growing up. Thank you so much. That is, you see what it says? Children don't have the life experience to know what's normal or abnormal behavior for parents or caretakers. This is why some people don't realize how troubled their family of origin was until they spend time with other families or start one of their own. At that point, they may realize they'd never treat their children as they were treated growing up. I've said it before, and I've said this on air before for sure, that I didn't know what it was like to be treated like family until my mom married her first husband that passed away. May he rest in peace. And their family showed me truly what it meant to be loved by a family. We were extended family, but they had my back, and they still do to this day. You know what I mean? Like, I still respect and love them for that. So I say that because, and also, I have kids now. You know, I have 4 beautiful children. And it's at that point that I will never treat my children the way I was treated growing up. I do not approve of the way I was raised. I don't. I'm not saying that it didn't do anything great for me, because it made me a great individual and a great person to go through all of those struggles and things. But I was young. I was a kid. I shouldn't have had to go through all of that shit at such a young age. I shouldn't have had to. I want to get to the point where even with the issues and struggles my kids come across, they know how to find the right resources, the right support, the right information to make sure that they get what they need taken care of. If they're not comfortable talking to me, that's okay to tell me. We'll go find you a therapist if we got to. If you feel like I am doing something that is going to cause a bigger issue with you and me later, I want to hear about it. I sit my kids down and I talk to them all the time and let them know, like, hey, y'all kids, you know what I mean? But y'all can tell me if something wrong. Y'all can tell me if something happened. I'll listen, as long as it sounds reasonable. You know what I mean? Don't tell me you mad at me because I won't get you ice cream at 10 o'clock at night. That's not reasonable. That's just you being crazy. You know what I mean? However, to get back to this, we're almost done here with this. To gain insight into how dysfunctional your family was or is, review the following questions. Answering yes to even one of these questions might indicate that your family of origin was dysfunctional. Wow, let's get these questions out the way. See if some of y'all can figure that out. Were siblings pitted against each other in your family? Did your parents have a favorite and or a scapegoat? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say this, and I mean this in the most respectful way, but I've always said this even when he was alive. I always felt like my brother was a favorite to my mom and them. I'm just saying. Never strayed away from that, but I always felt like he was a favorite. I think that's why it hit her so hard, because of who it was. You know, just being honest. I don't think mine would have hit her as hard if it would have been the roles were reversed. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm just being honest. In a two-parent household, were you extremely close to one parent and extremely distant from the other? Did your parents seem closer to one of their children than to each other? Now, my mother was a single mother, so I was always going to be closer to her than with my father. So that answers that. In a single-parent household, were your parents best friends and confidant? Did your parent resent you for having your own friends or social life? No, they were not best friends or confidants. And 2, no, she did not resent me for having my own life or social life. Did your parents routinely violate your boundaries, opening bedrooms and bathroom doors without knocking, rummaging through your belongings, eavesdropping on your conversations without good cause? Actually, no, my mother didn't do stuff like that. Were you deprived of food, clothing, medical care, and other necessities even though your parents had the means to provide them for you? See, this is a tricky question because I wasn't, but I always had to take hand-me-downs. If I ever wanted anything new, it was like going through hell to try to get it. Did abuse of any kind, verbal, emotional, physical, sexual, occur in your household, or did your parents fail to protect you from abuse that occurred elsewhere? Yes, it did, actually. So much emotional abuse. So much. And I used to get beat the shit out of all the time, too. So, yeah, whatever. Were you told not to tell people outside of your family what happened in your household? I think every black kid knows that. Did your parents or guardians struggle with addiction to food, drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, hoarding, shopping, etc.? Were these addictions not openly discussed? Or were you and other family members encouraged to enable in these addictions somehow? Actually, there was, but I'm not going to speak on what it was. Did your parents or guardians have an untreated or undertreated mental illness? Not that I know of. Did domestic violence occur in your household? Sometimes. Did your parents or guardians harbor major secrets from you regarding finances, illnesses, paternity, maternity, extramarital affairs, and any children produced from these relationships? No, not at all. Wow. Did your parents threaten to abandon you or actually abandon you? Did one parent routinely threaten to leave the other or actually do so in an abrupt manner? My parents never threatened to abandon me. However, my mother used to tell me that she didn't want me and that she did a lot of pills and drugs and alcohol to try to kill me while she was pregnant with me. So, yeah, you know, crazy. Were you punished for expressing yourself, sharing your opinions, pursuing your hobbies, excelling in school or another area? Yes, I was, actually, unfortunately, and I didn't understand why. It made me feel like I was doing too much and I had to just settle down and do the bare minimum. Were you treated more like an adult than as a child as you grew up? Were you expected to raise your siblings, complete difficult household chores, or take on responsibilities more appropriate for adults? Yes and no. It's kind of complicated. Were you treated, clothed, or disciplined like you were far younger than you actually were? Not really. Not to nothing that mattered anyway. Did the public personas of your parents or guardians completely differ from their private personas? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It says if you grew up in a dysfunctional family, you might feel lonely or isolated or struggle to develop healthy relationships with others. Plus, being harshly criticized or gaslit throughout your childhood might have caused you to distrust yourself or doubt your decision-making abilities. To cope with these negative emotions, you might engage in the same unhealthy coping mechanisms that your parents did. Examples including lashing out at others, self-medicating with drugs or alcohol. Didn't I say all I did was party? Overspending or overeating. Fortunately, you can take concrete action to break the pattern of family dysfunction. And then it goes into breaking the cycle, because I think it's a very important thing to break the cycle of a dysfunctional family. Recognizing that you grew up in a dysfunctional family is an important first step, but just acknowledging this truth is not enough to stop the pattern. You can work with a licensed mental health care provider or join a support group to help you work through any unresolved trauma related to your upbringing. That's why I advise y'all, especially men, especially my brothers, my black men, I advise y'all to go to counseling, go to therapy, go talk to somebody. It is okay to explain and express how you felt, what you went through, how you grew up. It is all right to talk about it. You will not get killed for expressing yourself. You won't. It'll help you navigate through life better. It'll help you navigate your feelings and emotions better. It will help you get to the point where you need to be. You don't have to worry about these traumatic things messing with you and later on down the road. You don't got to worry about them being big problems, because if you talk about them now or start working on them now, it'll be easy for you. And y'all think that it's an issue to admit or to acknowledge that you have an issue. That's the first step. That is how you grow, is by acknowledging that you need help. It's okay. I was very prideful. I never wanted to admit it. And now you see me on here talking every single week about how great it is to go get help. Sorry, it's personal. So I had to get a little, personal. Therapy can also teach you how to use healthy coping skills to regulate uncomfortable emotions rather than develop addictions or destructive behaviors. A mental health care provider can also help you set boundaries, which you will need if you are still in regular contact with your dysfunctional family members. You might need to limit contact with your relatives as you work on your recovery. So everybody that always say you need to that, you only get one mother, you only get one this, you only get one that, I don't give a fuck to hear that. My recovery means more to me than anything. Any relationship that I've built can go to hell besides with my children when it comes to my recovery for an unhealthy or dysfunctional family. They can go to hell. They can kiss my ass. Facts. If you like to become a parent, take the time to learn about child development and how to meet children's needs to each stage. You can enroll in a course, conduct your own research, or work with a therapist on healthy parenting strategies. Simply doing the opposite of what your caregivers did can create new and unforeseen problems for your children. So if you like to pursue parenthood, make sure the decision is an informed and intentional one. By planning to become a parent, addressing your past trauma, and developing healthy coping skills, you'll be in a much better position to form secure attachments with your children and guide them into a healthy adulthood. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I like how they went in and pointed out that just simply doing the opposite of what your parents did, it's not going to cause you to have a healthy relationship with your children. Because, let's be honest, some things our parents did, they were on the right track. They were. Somewhere down the line, they just got misguided. They just went the wrong way. They took the wrong turn. So I feel like some things they were doing, it's great to continue it, but tweak it a little. Get it to the point where it's going to benefit the child. It's not about us anymore. It doesn't matter if it's going to benefit what we want to hear, what we need to hear. We need to get into the point where we want these children to be able to come and talk to us without feeling like we're going to tell them what needs to happen and they have to just listen to us. We need to get to the point where children can be able to come to us as their parents and say, this is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling this way. And you may be part of the problem to why I'm feeling that way. We have to be okay with hearing that, because they're not telling us that we're bad parents. They're not telling us that we're horrible. They're not telling us that they hate us. They're saying there's a problem here and I want to fix this problem with you, instead of let it sit there and feather and sit there to become something bigger than what it needs to be. I want to dissolve an issue with you now, then wait 10 years down the road and tell you about it like you never knew. They should be comfortable enough to come to us and say, no, you're full of shit right now. Not really say those words, but they should be able to call us out without worrying about the fact that they're going to get in trouble because they're speaking the truth. Since when is it against the law for you to go to jail because you're telling the truth? You know what it is against the law? Going for not telling the truth. Martha Stewart went to jail because she didn't snitch, because she didn't tell on nobody. That's what it was. I want my children to be able to say, I can talk to my parents. I don't want to just say dad, because I have respect for their other parent. I want them to say, I can come to my parents, and it doesn't matter if I'm talking to them about the most darkest secret I have that I don't want nobody to know. I'd be comfortable with speaking with them without worrying about that they're going to judge me, they're going to try to dictate my feelings or emotions or control how I feel. I want my children to be able to come to me without those issues. I'm sorry. I want them to be able to, I don't care if it was, listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but if my daughter is 16 years old and she had her first time and she needed to talk about it and she was, she'd probably know that I wouldn't approve at 16 for you to be doing that. But I want her to be comfortable enough to say, my dad understands it already happened and I need to talk about it, so my feelings are more important than him being angry right now. That's how close I want my children to be with me when it comes to expressing themselves and talking. Now, I still give out discipline. I don't stray away from the occasional ass whooping or taking the games or toys away or, sitting in the room or, not being able to go outside and play. I still discipline. Honestly, like, they mom hate the way I discipline, but it gets the job done. And I tell her all the time, we have children that we raising. We have black children, especially these boys. You know what I mean? Let alone these little girls. Man, call me hard all you want. I have so many friends and so many, people that could be aunties or moms. You know what I mean? Older crowds. And the one thing they all say when they talk about their father being hard on them, that they so glad that he was. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I didn't have a father to be there to be hard on me, but I wish he was there to be harder on me. I think I would have went farther in life. But it is what it is. But with my kids, I'm not taking that chance. I'm not taking that gamble. They're young black kids growing up in America. I want them to know discipline. I want them to know respect. I want them to know how to express themselves without overreacting, without using anger, without using violence. I want them to be able to talk so freely and talk so smooth that their words are smoother than the cream cheese you put on your bagel. You know what I mean? That's how easy I want it to be for them in life. I want to be able to let them see and show them that you don't have to be, you're not property. Daddy doesn't own you. Mommy doesn't own you. We provide for you. You are our responsibility, not our property. We are responsible for making sure you make it through life for the first 21 years of your life. I say 21 because I feel like 18 is absurd to just get to 18 and kick them out when they just was legal enough to actually do anything. So I don't expect you, you know what I mean, to be owned by me. I expect you to respect me the way I'm going to respect you. So I want my kids to know that I am their parent and they're my responsibilities. I don't own them. I would never try to act like I own them. And all of my interests are only to look out for the better of them. You know what I mean? So when everyone else tries to control these kids and tries to make it seem like that, they have the ins and outs on what it is and the kids need to just listen and, I don't like that, because you are teaching your children to have that, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a toxic mindset, to be controlling. That's what it is. I don't ever want to teach my kids to be controlling. I want my children to be safe and secure in everything they do. I have made the choice to make sure that my children will be in an environment like that. Part of that choice means that they may or may not see my family, so be it. That's okay. But I'm their parent. I know what's wrong from right. And I refuse to let the people that fucked me over in life do the same thing to my children. I wouldn't be a parent if I just sat there and took that shit. Simple as that. Like I say, man, toxic and dysfunctional families are, it's like a 50-50 chance. Because you want to put in the work to try to make the family work, to try to make sure you can still, go to family reunions. Y'all can still talk to each other and hang out with each other. But at what expense? You don't want that to happen if the family that you're trying to stay connected to is just constantly giving you a blatant disregard for your feelings or emotions. Me personally, I'm not going for that shit. I love them to death, but they need to stay away from me. It is that simple. I do very well. Me and their mom, we do very well with taking care of our kids. Besides, in all honesty, and I'm not saying this just to say it, but they don't do shit for my kids anyway. So all of that talking they want to be in my kids' lives, I don't give a fuck about that. They don't do nothing for my kids. They don't watch my kids. They don't call my kids. They don't come pick up my kids. They don't do none of that. Now, granted, I've heard my mom say, she knows that I can take care of my kids and I got it going and I'm good, and she knows I'm a good father, and she just feels like my brother needs more help. But at the end of the day, that don't mean completely abandon the other ones, because I can't remember the last time you just chose to pick them up and take them over there, because, she get my brother kids every day from school. It's just a little shit that show me, you know what I mean? People can talk all that shit they want, but I pay attention. I'm observant, and I don't ask them to do a lot for my children either, because I don't feel like they need to. But you know who also feels that way? My kid's mom, her parent, her mom, them, they feel the same way about that. They know we good parents. But you know what they also do? Call, come get the kids, help out with the kids, they babysit, they pick up from school, pick up from daycare. They do all of the above. They don't be asked, they volunteer. You know what I mean? So when I see one side of my kids' family showing them love and support, and unconditional love and support, I'm not about to let another side show them temporary or, fake love. I refuse to. My kids deserve every bit of love in this world that comes to them. And I'm going to make sure that happens. By all means necessary. You know what I mean? By all means necessary. So, shout out to the kid's mom. Shout out to her family. Y'all do y'all goddamn thing. Shout out to my cousin Yodi. He definitely fucks with me and my kids, so that's for sure. But everybody else is like, it is what it is, you feel me? Nothing against y'all personally, but stay from around me and mine. We can take care of ourselves and we can deal with ourselves. We don't need y'all. Never did, never will. Simple as that. All right, now that I got that off my chest, I'm sorry, y'all, but this last weekend, it just put me in a bit of a rage that I just couldn't let go of, and I had to come and talk about it because I'm over it, and I'd rather talk about it here in a professional manner than sit there and make it another toxic situation again. You know what I mean? Can't control what I do here. This is my time for this entire hour. But definitely we'll catch y'all again next week. I know we're getting close to the end here, so let me wrap this up. Don't forget, every week now you can catch me here at Talk is Cheap on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. The time is now moved to 4 p.m., which is what we on the current hour, from 4 to 5 every week. Can't wait to catch y'all next week. The new flyer will be going up. Me and the kids have made some new TikTok videos that have went up. We're still making more it's the editing that pisses me off. The videos in themselves are cool to make and it's easy to get through, but it's the editing that pisses me off when it comes to making these videos. I have to spend so much time doing it, and it's just like I'm over it. Anyway. Don't forget to reach out and follow. Now, I would have came here to announce who won the family of 4. So we're going to give it another week because nobody has actually done what needed to be done. So first I'm going to give out all social media. So Instagram and Twitter is Juss Quanni, but it's also Choose Your Character, and it's CHOOZE, Choose Your Character, as well as on Facebook is the same way, Choose Your Character. My personal Facebook is Mark Quan Thomas or Quan Facebook Jail Thomas. TikTok is Juss Quanni 23. I hope I didn't forget anything. Most things you can find me at Juss Quanni if you didn't. So Twitter is the same way, Juss Quanni or Quanni 702. But the goal is you just find a post on there. All you have to do is go on the post and comment Kiss Mini Golf. That's it. Kiss Mini Golf or Hot 702, hashtag Hot 702.5 FM. So if you can do one of those things on one of those pages, you will win for a group of 4, family of 4, group of 4, whatever you guys prefer, to come and play mini golf at no expense to you. I will personally deliver the certificate to you. Personally, whether I have to drive to you or, I have to meet you at work, I will personally give it to you. I'm going to give everybody one more week. Since we didn't get it done this last week, there were literally nobody that did it. And maybe I need to make a post about it or something. But it is still up for grabs. Family of 4 to Kiss Mini Golf inside the Rio Hotel. Glow in the dark theme mini golf, which is great, pretty cool, pretty awesome. Has arcade and everything. So until then, I'll catch y'all next week on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. Peace, love, and hair grease. I'll catch y'all next week.